Welcome, everybody, to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest-running sales training podcast in the history of podcasting. 19 years and 4 months or so. I'm Bryan Neale. I'm one of your co-hosts. You know, my friend Bill Caskey is not here. This is a solo episode powered by Blind Zebra's sales operating system, BZSOS. And you know what's coming next. Everybody sing along with me. BZSOS at blind-zebra.com. I'm going to bring my piano in and play that for you. So we are recording this in December of 2025. We've already started filling our certification classes. We are for 26. We are ending 2025 with 122 certified operations coaches in the Blind Zebra sales operating system. That is just fun. And our January class is sold out at 25 people. So if you want to figure out and learn about what this thing is and how it works, just shoot me an email, bzsos at blind-zebra.com, and we'll get you in touch and get you a little info about what this thing is. So solo episodes, you know how these things roll. We are very picky about guests on the Advanced Selling Podcast, as you know. And Bill and I are picky because we only bring on guests that we either listen to, admire, aspire to be like, and or use what they do and the product that they sell or whatever that is. Today, I got all those. I'd like to welcome to the Advanced Selling Podcast, Patty DuChene, are you the CRO?
No, good question.
What's your
My
title?
title's changed. You know, yeah, because we were acquired. So I used to work for a company called Postal.
Yes.
I was CRO at Postal. We were acquired. So now I'm the SVP of Growth and Marketing. So
Awesome.
Scope hasn't changed a whole lot.
Awesome. And her company is called Sendoso, Sendoso, Sendoso. And if you sell B2B or B2C for that matter, but we are all B2B around the Advanced Selling Podcast. If you sell B2B, if you lead a sales team, you are a fool to not listen to what Patty has to say today and go check them out. And I will tell you proudly, Blind Zebra, our team, we are power users of Sendoso, and we get more compliments in our sales process about the things that we do with Sendoso than anything else we do, including our own product, which is pretty freaking good. So thank you for what you do.
Oh, you're very welcome. I think it's really cool that I have an opportunity to sell something that gets people compliments.
Right.
It's very rare
Nice.
that a sales product actually gets compliments. It's usually like disgruntled behavior. So thank you.
It's awesome. You're welcome. And we're very, my side hustle. I'm an NFL referee. I call him like I see him. Like, I wouldn't say anything if it wasn't, but it's fantastic. So let's first just talk about generically the concept of what Sendoso does and just the idea of gifting as part of a sales process. Yeah.
So Sendoso is a corporate gifting platform. We have a bunch of fancy little taglines, like AI enhanced gifting and things like that. But at the end of the day, and this is almost 10 years ago next year, which is crazy. Sendoso has been around for 10 years. We were founded by 2 sales reps who sat down at the end of every week writing thank you notes and birthday notes and life event notes to their prospects and customers. And one day they were like, well, why can't we find a piece of tech that can do this in an automated fashion off of my CRM, whatever it is that I'm using? And so they built Sendoso. And at that time, Sendoso was just delivering coffee gift cards. It was like, hey, thank you so much for meeting, or I look forward to your meeting, and here's this coffee. That over time has evolved into a more mature sales motion. Like most people are somewhat familiar with gifting in a business sense. It is not kind of like as uncommon as it used to be. However, it is far more uncommon than an email or a cold call. We see those all the time.
Yes.
And so the premise of Sendoso is that you can actually meet someone human to human and acknowledge who they are as an individual in a sales cycle. Because to give a gift and to do it well, you kind of have to know the person.
100%. So let's talk about that, because when I think about just gifting in general, there's the intention behind it. Bill and I talk a lot on the Advanced Selling Podcast about carrying good intention. And I know back in my younger days, and I'm a wheelhouse Gen Xer, and started in B2B sales with no computers or phones or anything like that. And so I had a baby boomer boss who would, say, hey, you should bring those guys donuts, or bring coffee for the office, or whatever that is, which I thought was nice. It wasn't in my nature. And then part of me made it feel shticky, like it was a bribe, or like everybody's bringing donuts. Like I'm not no different than anybody else. So what, in your experience of like gifting and things like that, how do people get around? I had some of this stuff in my head, like, this is silly, or am I bribing these people? And how do I power through that if I have that feeling?
Well, I mean, first off, just know that the how you give it matters and why you give it matters. And it's really hard in a sales cycle. Usually as a sales rep, if you're listening to this, you want a deal to happen. You want somebody to buy, to move forward, to expand their contract. And so you have to move past that and give the gift without any strings attached. One of the hardest parts of sales is establishing trust. And an incredible way to establish trust is to be able to extend a gift with no strings attached.
Awesome.
It's almost jarring as a prospect to receive something like that because it's so uncommon.
Yes. How about no strings attached? If I give an example of a no strings attached gifting for a salesperson in a process, when you say that.
Sure. So I'll actually give you an example that happened this week. So we run something called ABM here at Sendoso on our sales and marketing team, which is account-based marketing or account-based sales. We have a list of accounts that we're targeting over the course of a given quarter. Our marketing team is running paid advertisements across those accounts. Our sales team is targeting them with your typical like phone calls, emails, LinkedIn messages, as well as we do send gifts on occasion. I saw someone that I was connected to was in one of these ABM accounts, and she posted that she'd gotten a promotion. Now, I have not specifically gone to her saying like, hey, we really want you guys to use Sendoso, but I saw that she got promoted. So I sent her a LinkedIn message saying, congratulations, so thrilled for you. You deserve this tremendously. Just wanted to give you a little celebratory gift. And it was like a box of like champagne chocolates.
Awesome.
She was super ecstatic. She responded, oh my God, that's so great. I got a response then the next day from her saying, hey, we've been thinking about using gifting. Do you mind if I pop time on your calendar next week just to talk high level?
Yes.
Love to.
Ta-da. Look at that. It's fantastic. And had she not done that, what would you have done?
I would have continued. Our sales team would have continued moving forward. I would have no hard feelings. And I guarantee you that when and if they started considering corporate gifting at a later date, they would have come back.
Yes.
But the thing with gifting, like most marketing and sales, is that so much of our available green space isn't in the market today. And so you want to optimize for when they're in the market in the future. Yes. And gifting is an incredible way to do that with an early establishment of trust.
I think it's fantastic. And what we get from it now, here's the point. Now, this is the skill part of this. And Sendoso has great software and AI is it's just a fantastic thing. And we're power users, like I said. Well, for us, I'm sure you've got bigger accounts, a little blind zebra down here, but for us, I
won't take that away from you.
It's just it's a piece in our process. We showed you our document. Yeah. It's literally says in our sales process, it's part of what we do. But I think what's interesting is the personalization of that requires a little bit of thought and paying attention. And this is a skill that I think not everybody has. You have a gift there. I think I do pretty good with it. My wife, Stephanie, who runs our company, is really good at it. Not everyone notices things. What tip or what advice can you give to people listening who aren't naturally, like, you notice the person got a promotion that triggered, oh, I should send her a celebratory thing. Or, oh, one of my clients is having her first baby in January. Oh, boom, it's instant for us. But for some people, they just go, oh, that's great. Yeah, my client's having a baby. Or even worse, a salesperson would say, yeah, my buyer, she's going to be gone in January. She's having a baby. So it's going to be a while before we get that deal. And I'm kind of like, wait, hang on a second. There's something to do here. How do you coach yourself to pay attention to those little personalized details?
The Advanced Selling Podcast 2-Minute Drill is powered by the Blind Zebra Sales Operating System, a curated collection of field-proven tools that make selling simple to solve your biggest sales problems and drive immediate results. Stop chasing prospects, stop being ghosted, and get stalled deals moving again. Learn more at blind-zebra.com.
Okay, well, what are sales reps really good at managing themselves to? KPIs.
Okay, good.
So this is all about active listening.
Yes.
And if you find that you're one of those people that really struggles with getting on a call and leaving it feeling like you knew the person, give yourself a benchmark. I need to leave this call knowing 2 personal factoids of this prospect.
That's great.
Add it to your CRM. If it's time-based, put it in the calendar. I'm just like, if you go on my calendar, I have random dots all across next year around birthdays and babies and anniversaries that are unrelated to my personal life. So give yourself a KPI until it becomes natural and habit.
Everybody hear that? If you're listening to this, I want you to hear what Patty just said. Write that down. I don't care if you do gifting through Sendoso or never. That little activity of putting a KPI around every sales call that I'm going to walk away with something, some personal knowledge or something outside of business, documented in a CRM, and I'm measuring myself. I had 8 sales calls today. I was 6 for 8. Be real with yourself on the scoreboard. 2 of them I missed. I just didn't get there. Some people aren't open. So some buyers don't want to go there, and they don't. We don't want to pry. Is there any magic around letting that happen without it being too cheesy, cheeky, the old school fish on the wall? When I grew up in sales, it was like, hey, if you see a fish on the wall, ask them about fishing, when I really didn't care about fishing. I thought that was always inauthentic. Is there a tip around authenticity around this thing, or a way to gauge that without being too schmarmy or cheesy?
I personally like to start conversations. The first 3 to 5 minutes of every sales call is usually just small talk. Yeah. And I'll usually start. And how open I get has a direct connection with how open the attendees of the call usually are. And pick 1 or 2 things that you think are somewhat relatable about yourself that you like to talk about. For me, I have a toddler, and there's never a dull day in my household. So I usually start with whatever chaos hit us in the morning. Last week, we didn't like socks. Other weeks, I cut the apple incorrectly. Last night, we went to get tacos because she wanted tacos, and they didn't have carne asada, which is her favorite. So she said she wanted chicken because she said she didn't like what I ordered. So guess what she ate? What I ordered.
There it was. And 90% of humans, if you have kids, can relate to that. If you don't, you might have an Easter nephew or whatever. Or you want to have kids.
Dogs. I mean, kids, pets.
Yeah.
80% of people are going to relate in one way, shape, or form.
Yes. And I love the idea of leading with that. And we typically will find people will share to the level that they're comfortable and to the level that you just did. I think that's a really, really good thing to do. Usually when I have a guest, I don't give my own little tips. Usually Bill and I are dispensing advice, average advice, but advice nonetheless. But I'm going to say this is another mistake that I see salespeople making using LinkedIn is when you're prepping for sales calls, people don't go what I call below the fold. Everyone calls it below the fold, but they don't scroll down. If they look at all, a lot of them don't look at all. You listening, you know who I'm talking to. You need to look on LinkedIn who I'm meeting with. And then if just 2 thumbs down scrolls can find something, maybe if they went to whatever, they went to Ohio State, but they live in California. I'm like, hey, by the way, I saw you went to Ohio State, you're a Big Ten person, and oh yeah. And then talk. Well, then I'm thinking, okay, boom, Sendoso. I put in Sendoso, Ohio State, lots of stuff popped up. We use this. I sent a customized Ohio State wine bottle to my biggest client when he sold the company and retired. He ranted and raved. It was customized. It was awesome, like an etched Ohio Stadium thing. Now I'd known him for a while, but had I not, I see those things. That's something that I can do.
Absolutely.
I'm a huge fan of using LinkedIn, huge fan of opening up yourself to talk about things. And then I'm trying to practice what Patty's teaching us here. I just heard her kid likes carne asada, right? That's in my head. So I'm like, okay, can we find Patty's favorite taco shop? Can I find a taco shop around out in the Bay Area or something like this? And a gift card. This is for your daughter to get carne asada next time. And it's $15, for carne asada tacos.
I will say, I lead with my daughter so often that she's gotten, and this is not an exaggeration, she has gotten more gifts to the Sendoso office than I have ever.
Now she's going to get some carne asada from the event.
She's going to get carne asada now. She's gotten genuinely more gifts because most people end up knowing a lot about my daughter.
So funny, isn't it? So when in the sales process is gifting used? And then second question is, when is it the most important or most useful? When is it used? When do you counsel your clients to use it? And then at what stage is it the most useful? Can you say those 2 things?
Yeah. So I would say, let me actually start with where I think it's the most challenging to use.
Oh, good.
And when it's used, I think it can be when it's used well, it can be very effective, but it is the most challenging, is what I would call cold outreach. You don't really know someone. And so you're taking a guess, you're doing that LinkedIn scroll, maybe double, scrolling a couple times. Maybe you found them on social media. Believe it or not, I can't tell you the number of prospects don't have private Instagrams and Facebooks. Right. So you learn a lot. Now you don't want to be creepy, so be respectful, but you can find a lot about somebody online. And that's usually where, when done well and tastefully, it can be very effective. My recommendation typically is, if you don't have a relationship with someone, like you have an established rapport on a call, is that the best way to gift is to tie your gift to the message versus the person, because it doesn't feel intrusive. So I can give you an example.
Please.
Let's say I work at an agency and I sell marketing and sales services, and I want to sell to you, Bryan. I'd be say hey, as we look forward to 2026, I hope that you and I can grow our partnership together. And I send you a desk plant. So
Yes.
I'm tying my gift. So when it comes to that
Grow.
really, really
Grow.
cold,
I got it. It took a second. I grow the desk
grow
plant.
with me. Yes.
Gotcha. I'm with you.
So when it's really, really fresh and you don't have rapport established, sometimes the safest route is something that is tied to the message. Where gifting is, in my opinion, the most effective is when you have rapport, but the timing's not now. Because you're optimizing for when they are in market and you already know the person, they already trust you. There's some foundation there. And gifting to that person will always pay dividends because nobody's permanently at. I mean, I guess you're permanently at Blind Zero. Not most people don't stay at their jobs that long, Bryan.
Yeah, right. I'm here as long as they let me.
If you find a raving fan, they can take you every 3 years to their new gig.
Yes, 100%, 100%. And that's where I think when I think about gifting is it's while it's about the gift, it's really about the memory of someone being thoughtful and listening and hearing me. It's less about what I got. It's more like you said earlier. It's like how I got it and why I got it. And so if you're listening to this, you got to really hone in on that. I think that's a really important message to hear. And people they just do not forget this stuff.
No, they don't. I'll give you one more place where I think the gifting is really effective. And when you think about a sales cycle, and for many different, depending on what you're selling, very rarely do we just sell to one person. Yeah. Like maybe we have one champion or catalyst, but usually there's quite a few people in the room. Depending on the industry, you can have up to like 15. And throughout the sales cycle, there will be 1, 2, or 3 people that do a ton of the work and nobody likes them. And I'll give you an example. Nobody, including your prospect, likes procurement. Right. People hate procurement. The company hates procurement.
They do.
Vendor hates procurement.
Everybody.
Yes. So how does that make procurement people feel? Not great. I love gifting to procurement people.
Awesome.
Like you say like, hey, I know you got our contract. Like I just want to say thank you. Usually you got to be careful because you don't make it look,
that's a bribe. Right? Getting close. Yeah.
It's usually like, hey, here's some, usually I go with like the coffee or the snacks, which is like, I hope this isn't too painful for you. Like little something to fuel you.
Good. Yes.
Here's a direct link to our legal team. Should you have any questions?
Awesome. It's great that you said that because that was going to be one of my questions is gifting to multiple people. I think one of the things, if you've listened to the Advanced Selling podcast long enough, you all know that we don't believe in a decision maker. It's always a decision process with multiple people. It's never a person. This is a mistake I think salespeople will make with gifting is they will only think about gifting to what they perceive to be the decision maker, which is 2 things that are wrong to me. You gift everybody, the influencers too. Is that a good thing to do? Like, okay, procurement, I get it. Everyone hates them. Well, let's talk about what you and I sell to a CRO, let's say, or a VP of marketing. But our users are the salespeople. So if I'm selling BZSOS, I sell to you and or the CEO, CFO, you guys plug BZSOS in, but the salespeople have to adopt it and use it, or you're going to say, hey, no one's using,
Oh,
so if I'm in a process, talk about the users or the other people, the influencing people, how to gift to them.
I actually, so for me, our sales cycle here is we typically are selling into the marketing leader's budget. So whether that's a VP marketing or a CMO, sometimes a CRO, but very rarely are they, besides like the first call and the last call, are they involved? They're not the ones that have to figure out how to use it consistently and how to make the most of it. That's a whole different group of people. And I actually prefer to gift to those people, because they have more work on their hands. And it kind of goes, procurement has a lot of work on their hands. I tend to index more towards who has the most work.
That's good.
And that is who I will tend to to establish more relationships with, because they're the ones that can vote no.
Yes.
At the end of the day, the senior leader whose budget is coming in is gonna most likely CYA. Are you familiar with the acronym CYA?
I am.
Okay.
Very.
I don't know if I should say there's a curse word in there, but they're gonna end up using they're gonna end up doing it most of the time.
Cover your tush. There we go.
There you go. Cover your tush. Thank you. But they're gonna end up using their influencers to ultimately decide it. And you have, for us, it's usually someone in rev ops or in marketing operations.
Yes.
It's like, what? I don't have bandwidth to implement. Those are the people that we need to have rapport established, that we get the extra phone call or two to get them comfortable with our systems. And then the last thing that I love to do with gifting is after, for us, they've purchased, we gamify usage until it becomes a habit. And anybody can do this. Like anybody, whatever your tool is, whatever the process is, you need sales reps or people to use, gamify it. Come up with an activity metric. Like first, 5 people that do this in the first week, they get this from us. Next 5 people to do this by the end of the month, they get this from us. And then you're really just enabling habits.
Yeah, right. And salespeople tend to be competitive. And jokingly say when you put a scoreboard in front of a group of salespeople, there are two races that occur. One is the race to the top. The second race is the race off the bottom.
Yes.
Because people either want to finish first or they don't want to finish last. That's a very typical salesperson layout when you put a contest in front of them. I love that idea of using gifting as my implementation thing. We work, and a lot of people listen to this podcast. I know a lot of you don't sell software, but that doesn't matter. It could be whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
If you sell payroll services, you talk to the payroll people there and say, hey, first two people that are able to get this thing fully filled out, we'll give you this thing too.
Oh yeah.
Using gifting. It's awesome. It's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Last question, and then we'll wrap. If I don't want to use software, which I think they should, everybody should. If you don't, you're an individual. Like what's just the biggest tip you can give someone if you're going to be doing gifting on your own? What's one tip you give them?
I would set aside 1 to 2 hours a week, probably the end of the week, usually Friday afternoon. It's going to be slow for everybody, where you send and give yourself a KPI. You send a minimum of 5 meaningful, like relationship building gifts. And they don't have to be, I should take away with the word gift, pieces of direct mail. A handwritten note card can go a long way. Great.
Carve time with a KPI.
Yes.
That is right in wheelhouse.
Treating
awesome.
Gifting like an activity metric is a massive unlock.
Everybody hear that? Treating gifting with an accountability metric is a massive unlock. That is fantastic. That's mic drop. Way to end the show. Way to go, Patty.
Boom.
Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and find you. And by the way, we love their software. We love Patty. We love everything that they do. My guess is if you reach out to her, you're probably going to get a gift of some sort somewhere along the way, which is probably going to be worth it. That's just my recommendation. So how do Advanced Selling Podcast listeners get a hold of you?
Yes. So you can obviously check out Sendoso at sendoso.com. Alternatively, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not hard to find. Patricia DuChene, DuChene. Send me a note and I'll be happy to give you a taste of Sendoso.
She would absolutely do that for you. And I can tell you as a power user of Sendoso, if you run a sales team, strong recommendation in 2026. If you're looking to find a way to differentiate yourself, Sendoso is really close to pixie dust for us. So thanks a bunch. Awesome.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Okay. If you, as always, bzsos@blind-zebra.com. Shoot me an email if you want to learn about how to become certified in the Blind Zebra Sales Operating System. And I will see you next time on the Advanced Selling Podcast.